Good morning. This is Rich from Rich TV Live, and we are looking at the markets. We are looking at our picks, and the number one pick that I brought you guys in advance, and I told you guys yesterday, was my number one pick for July 2019. It was my number 7 pick for June 2019, and it hasn't disappointed today. GBTC. Take a look at GBTC. Man, you guys are watching Rich TV Live. How could you not be winning, man? I mean, we just keep bringing picks in advance over and over and over again. And once again, absolutely free. I brought you GBTC a month ago when it was under $10. It is now at $15. GBTC. Now, what is the catalyst? Obviously, Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, GBTC goes up. I told you guys, man. I told you guys. If you guys want to win, you got to follow Rich TV Live, okay? We bring you winners, and we bring them to you before they explode. And we do it over and over and over and over and over again. It's almost a little bit comical. So yeah, GBTC has been a huge winner for our members. Congratulations to everyone who's taken advantage of Grayscale Bitcoin Investment Trust, GBTC. They have been absolutely on fire, and the fire will continue. As long as Bitcoin continues to go up, GBTC will also be going up. Okay? So, yes, my picks have been phenomenal. We will continue to bring you winning picks. GBTC is one of the hottest stocks in the world right now. And if Bitcoin continues to go up, GBTC will also continue to go up. Now, there's so much news happening today in the world of the stock market. There's so many picks that have big news today. Zenabis has big news. Labs has big news. Aurora has news. Canopy Growth has news. Everybody has news. But the one that I'm really focused on, that I'm laser focused on, is Bitcoin Investment Trust, GBTC, at $15.11, up 11.51% as we speak. And I believe if Bitcoin continues to go up, GBTC also continues to go up. Romano says, when do you think the marijuana stocks will start to move again? I think some of them are already starting to move. I believe we're finding a bottom. We're finding a floor. You can see that if you go to richtvlive.com and you go to the pod indices, you will see that the entire sector is near a bottom. So I believe we're going to have a resurrection between now and October, and we will see a massive resurrection in the cannabis sector. I believe in October we will see a fall again, and that will probably continue until December, and then we'll probably see another resurrection in January. If history repeats itself, that's what will most likely happen. But you never know. The stock market is difficult for anybody to predict, obviously. Even Jim Cramer is saying that it's difficult for him to predict these markets because there's so much volatility, and the cannabis sector especially is trading with really no real fundamentals. It's trading on a lot of hype. It's trading on a lot of future growth. It's trading on a lot of future fundamentals. Because of that, it's very difficult to predict. Christopher Doyle says, got the day off, chilling with Rich TV Live and receiving these blessings. What do you think about GBTC, brother? Scott Norris says, Zenabis has positive yields. Bought into CanTrust today, like a 12-month low and more Zena. Very good. I hope you win big. Yeah, there was even some news for Namaste today, and there was news for FSD Pharma. FSD Pharma has moved on news that they have finally received their sales license. So congratulations to anybody who took advantage of the move on FSD Pharma. Clearly, big news for them. Everyone's been waiting on this, but they went up, and then they kind of came back down. So what is the catalyst, and what is the reason why it's coming back down? Once again, it goes back to dilution, guys. Dilution. Too much dilution in the security. They got over 1 billion shares. And when you have too many shares and there's too many people that are looking to sell, it's going to force the price down every single time. Oh, they're up 19% in America right now. FSD Pharma receives full sale for medical purposes cannabis license from Health Canada. So that's the news that is breaking and the reason why FSD Pharma is doing well today. Christopher Doyle says, not in on GBTC, bro. Cannabis stocks only. Hey, that's fine, man. Everybody has their preference. If there's anything that's moving right now, any news that's happening, anything that's breaking that you want me to talk about, please put it in the chat so we can discuss it while we're live. But I think overall, we are seeing that the cannabis sector is kind of choppy right now. And that's due to the fact that Aurora and Canopy are down, two of the biggest out there. So I'm not really surprised that it's choppy when you see Canopy specifically down. You're going to see pretty much everything else down. Bitcoin, the reason why I like GBTC, it's an opportunity to get into Bitcoin without actually having to be on an exchange. It's the opportunity to be in Bitcoin without actually having to have a hardware wallet. It's the opportunity to be in Bitcoin without actually having to store your crypto. You can just buy your stock and hold it. And if you believe that Bitcoin's going to go up, you can hold it. If you think it's going to come back down, you can trade it. And GBTC, it's still at $15. It's at a reasonable price. Ecow Pool says, just throwing this out there, buy PAAS. Scott Norris says, I am hesitant as well with Bitcoin. My friend, though, got in at 50 cents, put in 2,000, made 400 grand. Wow. That's big. Congratulations to him, man. 2 grand into 400K. That is insane. That is a good return on investment. You don't see those types of investments every day. So there's a lot of momentum in the markets. There's a lot of crazy things in the markets. Overall, the markets are red today. A lot of that is due to the fact that President Trump is talking about putting sanctions on the Iranian economy in Iran. So who knows what's going to happen in the markets when you have this type of consistent volatility, consistent war between America and Korea, America and China, America and Mexico, America and Iran, America and Canada. I mean, it's on and on and on and on and on. It just never ends. It just keeps going and going and going. So it'd be nice to see some stability in the markets. It'd be nice to see some of this stuff just stop. I don't know if it will with President Trump in power. But as long as he's always trying to go to battle with country after country, it's going to create a lot of uncertainty in the market. And that uncertainty will show in the marketplace as far as the way people trade stocks, the amount of money they hold in the markets, whether or not they pull money out of the markets. It's all a factor. There's so much volatility in these markets right now, and I believe this volatility will continue. Now, I do believe that we are going to have a resurrection in the cannabis sector. We are definitely near the bottom overall in the cannabis sector. So I foresee us going much higher, and I hopefully see it happening soon. I did predict that it would happen at the end of July, and we are seeing some catalysts that are kind of pointing towards that. Let's take a look at the Canadian Pot Index today. And you can find all of this at www.richtvlive.com. And you can follow with me the Canadian Pot Index today. Let's see, where are we at? So overall, we are slightly red. Just 1% though, nothing scary. Wow, FSD Pharma is the big mover today, up 20% at 17.5 cents on news that they have received their sales license. Agriflora Organics, one that I currently own, is up 4.6%. Namaste is up 3.3%, and Afria is up 1%. And then we see red. Aurora Cannabis is down slightly at $9.64. Cannabis Growth Corporation at $51.92 is down 2.5%. Hexo is down 3.6%. And Tilray back under $50 at $48, down 4%. Aleafia Health down 4%. And they just don't ever seem to find the bottom. Indiva Limited is down 8%. Harvest One Cannabis is down 5%. Suniva is this an all-time low for Suniva? $2.65, down 5%. Let's take a look at Suniva. Let's look at their chart. And I just look at all of this at richtvlive.com. We have all the tools and resources there at your fingertips. So if we look at the 2-year chart on Suniva, yep, as I suspected, we are at a 52-week low and an all-time low for Suniva. We have never seen Suniva lower than this price. In my opinion, Suniva is a buy. Now, when is it going to come up? I don't know, but this is a company that is growing. The revenues are growing, but the price keeps going down. In my opinion, Suniva is a buy. Scott Norris says, I got Agra. Yes. Good job, Scott. Internet Thug TV says, Bills up 7%. It's nice to see Bills finally going up. Yeah, I agree with you, CR. Bitcoin is going to be a part of our day-to-day transactions in the future and in the present, and more companies are getting involved. This is why you see Facebook getting involved. This is why you see bigger institutions getting involved. I believe that Ripple will be our SWIFT payment in the future. So whenever you send a wire, they will be using the X-Rapid system through Ripple. I believe that that is the future of transactions, and that will be transactions that will be done all over the world for the bankable and the unbankable. Christopher Doyle says, hunting cannabis bottoms and ready to snipe headshots. There's so many right now. Suniva's at a bottom. I think Labs is nearing a bottom. Zenabis is nearing a bottom. Clearly, we found FSD Pharma at the bottom. Namaste is near a bottom. I believe Aurora is near a bottom. Afria is near a bottom. I think Cannabis Growth and Tilray are going to go higher. Curaleaf is near a bottom. C-Web is near a bottom. I just keep finding so many bottoms, and I believe we'll continue to. Michael Edwards says, Ripple is signing everybody up. Yeah. Ripple's got like over 200 banks that are going to be working with them or are currently already working with them. Pat says, T-God at 320. Gopa32 says, GBTC is going to continue to grow. Yeah, I predict it's going to go to $20. Yo, what's up, Jared? How you doing, buddy? Waiting for LLT to drop more. Yeah, I think LLT is up today. So I think the key is just to buy the dips, guys. On any stock that you're watching, buy the bottoms, sell the tops. Buy the bottoms, sell the tops. Wait for momentum. The trend is your friend. Bitcoin was down. GBTC was decimated. Bitcoin goes up. GBTC is hot. This is the way it goes, right? Michael Edwards says lots of NDAs for Ripple at the moment. Oh, yeah. I think Ripple has a lot of news that will be flowing. So keep your eye on Ripple. I don't see any reason why we don't see more upside for cryptocurrency as a whole. The last time we saw crypto make a move like this, they ran all the way to 21,000. Currently, it's at, last time I looked, it was 11,000. It might be a little bit under 11,000 today, like 10,600 or something like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, right now Bitcoin is at 10,900. So as long as Bitcoin continuously shows this momentum and this power, I believe we will see GBTC do the same. Now, it's funny, a lot of people don't know. Everyone keeps talking about Bitcoin, but Litecoin is the hottest cryptocurrency in 2019. Litecoin is up 360% in 2019. Bitcoin is up over 100%, and Ethereum is up over 100% in 2019. But Litecoin is actually up the most. Litecoin is up 360% in 2019. Christopher Doyle says, watching the big pot stocks with you and this community. Second wave is in the making. Yeah, we're going to see the second wave. The Kush bottles, the Cure Leafs, the Can Trusts, the Zenabises, the Cenivas, the Tea Gods, the Metafarm Labs, the Valens Grow Works, the Radiant Technologies. They are on tap. They are on tap. So there are so many picks to watch every single day. And I am watching the entire markets. You can actually go and see the pod indices on richtvlive.com, and you can see the entire Canadian and US sector all right there under pot indices. So take a look, and you can also get all the breaking news and all the updated news of the day under pot indices for the cannabis sector. And you can see there's a lot of news today. Lots and lots of news today. So that's a good sign. Typically when there's news, that means, the market is bullish. So whether or not the market's choppy or not, when there's no news, that's never a good sign. Okay. When there's a lot of news, then you know that the market is starting to get momentum again. And you can see there's a lot of news. Like here's all the headlines I got. Check this out. I mean, there's a lot of headlines. So the first one is Ottawa to speed up pardons for cannabis convicts. The second one is Supreme Cannabis to launch investment platform, Supreme Heights. The third one is TransCanna Holdings Inc., TCAN, adds $10 million in funding to California cannabis asset building efforts. The next one is New Leaf Brands signs binding LOI to acquire Relife Brand LLC. That's a new symbol. NLB in Canada, NLBIF in America. What else? Vivian Azur reiterates buy rating on Aurora Cannabis. Let's read this. So this is all the news that's flowing. There's a lot of news in the cannabis sector that's flowing. And like I said, you can go to richtvlive.com and get all that information under the pot indices section. Let's see here. Let's scroll down to the news. In a recent released analyst research report, Cohen & Company managing director and senior research analyst covering beverages, tobacco, and cannabis, Vivian Azur, reiterate her buy rating on shares of Aurora Cannabis, with a price target that suggests some noteworthy upside to come. So that's good sign. So she believes that there's upside to Aurora Cannabis. I also believe that there's upside to Aurora Cannabis. I named them as one of my top stocks for July 2019, and I believe that they are finding a bottom. AMD, let's take a look at AMD. Let's pull up AMD. Thank you guys for your likes. I really appreciate it. Advanced Micro Devices Inc. Now, one of the reasons why I have an issue with AMD is because they're based out of China, and Trump is making it difficult for Chinese companies. And these guys are going down most likely based on that. So they're at $29 right now, down slightly. I think a lot of it is due to the Chinese and American trade war tensions. When I listen to BNN Bloomberg, that is what the big analysts are saying. And that's why we now see them at $29, even though recently we've seen them much higher, and they were quite bullish just over the last, let's see. Yeah, we saw them at like $33 June 10th, currently now at 29. I believe a lot of this is due to the Trump-China trade tensions. So I like this stock, but as long as America and China continuously have this duel of attempting to hurt each other's economies and slap tariffs on each other and attack each other, I don't see how AMD does very well in this economy until this all gets resolved. Michael Edwards says, cryptos are like bullish cannabis stocks on steroids. Scott Norris says, was in Kelowna last week. Valens was having a big launch party at the hotel. Tried to get into, but didn't. Valens went up big after that party, I bet. You got to let us know about those things, Scott. Those secret parties. That's when everybody gets together and says, let's buy the stock. Christopher Doyle says, Rich, I really like Cresco Labs. Yeah, Cresco looks really good. Michael Edwards says, Trump's going to finish the deal by the 4th of July. That would be really nice. That would be really nice. I think that would really be a catalyst for the markets. All the Chinese stocks like AMD would probably bounce, and companies like NEO, and that would really be good for the economy. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true, Michael. I don't know what leads you to believe that. Lots of cannabis investors there. They all loved Zenabis. Yeah, I think anyone that is a real long-term investor is going to love Zenabis. I don't know what there is not to love about Zenabis. I think everything looks good. All the fundamentals are there for them to be a giant in the making. In fact, they had some news. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Zenabis news, because I thought the news was actually pretty good today. Mind you, the stock isn't really responding, but the news I felt was pretty substantial. Yeah, so Zenabis is at $1.70 right now. It's down slightly, but they have some decent news. Let's take a look at their news. So this is the news that came out first thing this morning. Here it is. Wow, it's a good news. It's a big news. It's always interesting when stocks don't respond to good news. Always makes you wonder why. Wow, it's a big news. It's pages and pages and pages and pages. Zenabis outperforms design capacity by 35% in May and announces 70% increase in licensed annual cultivation capacity. Zenabis is pleased to provide an update on its recent cannabis production figures, facility construction and licensing, hemp cultivation, and Zen craft grow. Cultivation output in May 2019 was 908 kgs of dried cannabis, which represents 35.1% outperformance relative to design capacity, or a performance ratio of 35.1%. In May 2019, represented Zenabis' highest monthly cultivation output to date and is almost double Zenabis' cultivation output in January 2019. Together with accelerated one harvest versus forecast cultivation output of 908 kgs of dried cannabis was 49.6% greater than forecast output of 607 kgs. The performance ratio on a by harvest basis varied from a low of 10% to a high of 52.4%. On June 21st, 2019, Health Canada approved the Phase 2B license amendment for Zenabis Atholville, expanding license annual cultivation capacity at the company's largest indoor facility by 9,800 kgs to 22,300 kgs of dried cannabis, and license space from 174,900 square feet to 251,600 square feet. Zenabis' total licensed annual cultivation capacity is now 23,100 kgs of dried cannabis, and construction and licensing continue to progress on track at Zenabis Langley and Zenabis Atholville Phase 2C, with licensed annual cultivation capacity expected to increase to 131,200 kgs of dried cannabis in the third quarter of 2019. So we got a big quarter ahead. Andrew Grieve, Chief Executive Officer of Zenabis, stated, "Zenabis achieved strong cultivation results again in May. We are confident in our ability to continue to outperform as we refine our cultivation approach. As expected, the variety of cultivation approaches we are testing resulted in a room-by-room variance during May. For example, the 52.4% outperformance room this month was a test room using several alternative approaches. Going forward, aside from variance resulting from ramp-up in rooms, we continue to expect to achieve greater consistency in output commencing in July," which is around the corner. "We are pleased with the rapid progress of our construction and licensing efforts to date," continued Mr. Grieve. "During the month of June, Health Canada approved both our industrial hemp production license and the license amendment for Phase 2B at Zenabis Atholville. The receipt of the Phase 2B license amendment approval, particularly following the recent license of Phase 2A at the same facility, is a testament to the expertise of our team in constructing compliant space and working closely with Health Canada. This approval, together with our recently submitted Phase 2C Part 1 license amendment application for Zenabis Atholville and our planned site evidence package submission for Zenabis Langley Site A, gives us continued confidence that our licensed annual cultivation capacity will increase to 131,200 kgs of dried cannabis by Q3 2019. So they break down the growth, and it's just growing and growing and growing and growing. And the forecast is also growing. So the June forecast was 668 kgs. They did 908. The July forecast is 836 kgs. Clearly, it's going to be higher than that. The August is 781 kgs, which is lower than July, which makes no sense. September is 1,627 kgs. October is 2,263 kgs. November is 2,702 kgs. December is 3,351 kgs. So this is all estimates. And let me remind you, they've been beating their estimates. This is the part that I like. Zenabis intends to provide a monthly cultivation forecast for Zenabis Langley upon receipt of its cultivation license. The timeline from harvest to point at which Zenabis completes a sale of that product ranges from a minimum of 2 weeks in the case of a bulk sale to a licensed producer, to more than 8 weeks in the case of soft gel capsules, which involved external extraction, processing, filling, filling, packaging, and shipment. Zenabis recognizes the revenue from completion of such sales in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS, as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board. So much news here. I'm not going to go through all of it. But yeah, it's a good press release for Zenabis. What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin clearly is doing well. And if you've been watching the show and you want to buy a Bitcoin stock, GBTC is the stock to watch. GBTC is clearly the stock to watch if you want to buy a Bitcoin stock. Thank you for your support, Christopher. So yeah, good day in the markets overall. Very choppy. GBTC is having a very big day. Another pick that I've been talking to you guys about, LWAY, was up last time I looked. Let's take a look. LWAY. LWAY. Lifeway Foods Inc. I told you guys it was one of my top picks to watch. They are being promoted by National Inflation Association with very good results. When they started featuring them, it was under, it's a little bit red now at $3.75, which might be a buying opportunity. When I started talking about this stock, it was at $2.30. It's now at $3.75. And I think it's one to watch. Lifeway Foods Inc. I think it has a lot of upside. I think it has a lot of potential. LWAY, watch them carefully. GBTC, watch them very carefully. They've been really hot due to the fact that Bitcoin is doing well. FSD Pharma is climbing today due to the fact that they received their sales license. And there's lots of news that's trending all over the entire markets. Marlon asks, is MedMen still a good long-term hold buy? I believe it is. I believe MedMen is going to be one of the biggest and the best LPs in America. I think it has a strong hold on America. They've got really nice stores. I think they have some issues with their management that they will resolve. They've got some issues with money, which I hope they resolve. But I believe long-term, they will be a success. Internet Thug TV says BYND looks like it's going to bounce. Does it? Let's see. If there's any other picks I need to look at, guys, drop it in the chat. Thank you guys for your likes. I really appreciate it. What do I think about Jushi? Looks okay. BYND at $143, down 7%. I think the shorters might have it right now, so I would be careful with it right now, considering a lot of the shorters are saying that it's overpriced, overvalued. So I would be very careful, but you never know. Yeah, we might have another bounce, especially if they put out some big news. But you never know with these markets. They're very volatile, very up and down, very choppy. What about MYM? I have 40,000 shares and it's so quiet. Is there hope that they get their license? There's always hope they get their license, but there's nothing we can do until that happens. So that's clearly the problem with MYM, which was the problem with FSD Pharma, and anybody that believed in them and bought them when it was really, really cheap, they're able to sell today for a great profit. Rob asks, do you have a list of crypto ETFs in the Canadian markets, Rich? I know that GBTC is one that we are watching. I know Ethereum Classic is another one, and Ethereum Grayscale. So those would be the ones that I would be watching. Ethereum Classic is ETCG. It's at $29. It's currently in the red. GBTC is at 15.20. They're clearly in the green and having a massive day today. So I am watching everything. I'm watching the crypto markets. I'm watching the cannabis markets. The entire markets right now are very choppy. Overall, the markets are red today. Overall, we have 2,833 decliners, 1,891 advancers, and that is on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ. So we are having a red day overall. You guys want to see the top gainers? Yeah, Litecoin is the number one cryptocurrency over the last, well, since 2019. It's up 360%. Michael Edwards says there's going to be more crypto ETFs put together in due time. Now things are being regulated. The institutional investors are ready to FOMO in and retail. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible in these markets. And I agree with you. There's going to be more and more coverage of cryptos, similar to how there's more and more coverage of cannabis stocks. So some of the hot stocks today, take a look at VVPR, up 100%. Mario Nicola says, I hope FSD getting a deal soon or a buyout. Yeah, I think both of those are very likely. NERV is up 45%. PCMI up 42%. Just to name a few. IGC up 18%. Now remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for education, entertainment purposes. Always do your due diligence. Always do your research before you invest in anything that we talk about here in Rich TV Live. Don't go out and just buy a stock just because we talk about it, okay? Buy it because you love it. You did your due diligence. You did your research, and you want to own it. Because if you buy a stock, you got to live with it. Wow, top losers, PIR, Pier 1 Imports, down 31%. Whoa. It's one of the ugly ones today. Everything else is pretty choppy across the board. Oh, Bitcoin's back up over 11,000. Bitcoin is at 11,075 right now. So let's just look at GBTC again. That's good news for GBTC if you hold GBTC. Yeah, GBTC is going even higher now at $15.25, up 12.55%. And if you watch my top 10 picks for July 2019 video, which I did yesterday, I announced that GBTC was my number one pick for July 2019. If you watch my top 10 picks for June 2019 video, you will see that I picked GBTC as my number 7 pick for June 2019 when it was at $9.90. It is now up over 50% since that video, and they have been a huge success. What is XRP doing? XRP is at 46.69. It's down 1.78%. Bitcoin is up 2.4% right now. Frank says AUSA is at 91 cents, BAM's at 127, Hexo is at 706. What do we do? Buy? I mean, those are at the bottoms, right? So, I mean, I'm not here to tell you to buy those stocks specifically, but when you see the bottoms, that's when you buy. I mean, that's just the way it is. When you see the bottoms, that's when you buy. That's when you load up and buy. RCXXI? RCXXI. You mean CXXI? Is CXXI a buy? CXXI is up 6.9%. I mean, that's nice to see. They've been getting obliterated. But like I've told you guys, any stock that's under $1 is very risky because for whatever reason, once they get under that dollar mark, it's very difficult for them to get back over it. And I've seen this over and over and over again with these cannabis stocks. So buyer beware, be very careful if you buy anything under $1, because typically when they get under that dollar, I'm calling it now no man's land. Typically when they get into no man's land, it's very hard for them to get out. Frank is saying Afria is the only that's green today out of the big boys. Yes, it is a red day overall in the markets. We are having a very choppy day. And even though we have a lot of big news overall in the sector, we are not getting a lot of momentum in the sector outside of FSD Pharma for cannabis stocks and GBTC for cryptocurrency stocks. We're not seeing too much movement, very choppy today overall. What else, guys? Is there anything else you want me to look at? Anything else you want me to talk about? Anything else that's on your mind? Please let me know before we go. And if you guys haven't, go to www.richtvlive.com where you can get all the information in the cannabis stock index, all the information you need to know about stocks at your fingertips. And if there's anything that you think we need to add to the website to enhance it, to make it better or more user-friendly for you, the people, let us know so that we can make it better. Frank says, I'm in deep with ACB and Hexo. I guess I need to stay put for now. Yeah, I think that Hexo and ACB are finding bottoms right now for 2019. I think that if you're patient, you will be rewarded and we will see these stocks go higher. I think there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to see these stocks go higher. The question is when. I believe we see the resurrection, which I've been predicting now for a few months, in July. I think that's when it starts. Nautica is asking, Valens Growworks or Labs? Ooh, that's a good question. In my opinion, Labs is bigger and better. I like Valens Growworks too, though. I do own Labs, so I might be a little bit biased there. But the reason why I bought Labs and I own Labs is I like their revenue. Their revenue far exceeds the revenue of Valens Growworks, and I believe it will continue to grow and continue to rise quarter over quarter. So that's why I believe Labs, which is not priced that much higher right now than Valens, is a better company. Demir asks, are you much into physical gold and silver? No. But I'd like to be. Right now I got too many things going on. I'm heavily in the stock market and I'm heavily in crypto market, and not heavily. I'm in the crypto market a little bit, not heavy, but I want to get heavy into it, and just been waiting for this resurrection. Now that the resurrection's here, I'm definitely more interested in the crypto space because the trend is your friend and we got momentum, and heavily in the real estate. So those are my games. XRP, Jared, XRP, buddy. Frank says, Molson is launching beverages with Hexo this December. Edibles needs to rally these stocks. It will. It will. It will. Wingstop is up every day. Wing.o. What is that? A crypto? Wingstop? Or is that a stock? Let's see. Wingstop. Oh, NASDAQ. Wing at $93.18. Yeah, that chart looks crazy. Good find. Good find, Internet Thug TV. I like it. It's crazy. Just goes higher and higher and higher. You're right. From $45 to $93. Wow. It's up 95% in the last year. Good find, this one, weighing on the NASDAQ. I like it. Michael Edwards is 50-50 in Canna and crypto. Yeah, well, you're in two of the biggest sectors in the world, so nothing wrong there. Jared is saying Livecoin just sent me 100. They sent you $100? Well, that's nice. Was that the airdrop? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that message from Livecoin saying that there's a free airdrop. That's pretty interesting. Okay, guys, we've been live for 45 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. This is your boy Rich from Rich TV Live. GBTC, big stock of the day. FSD Pharma, big stock of the day. Zenabis has big news. Aurora has big news. Cannabis has big news. MetaPharm Labs has big news. Everybody has big news, but the market's still choppy because President Trump is still having issues with Iran and China and a lot of people. So that is affecting the markets. The markets overall are red, but even though the markets are red, we continuously are finding green, okay? Go to richtvlive.com, go to the Rich Picks, and you will see a list of all of our picks and our results. Overall, our picks have been very, very good. We've got a great track record, and we will continue to bring the winners first. This is your boy Rich from Rich TV Live, and I'm out. Peace.